What's going on, guys? Deadbeat Devs here, and today we put together a quick little video that's just a PC build guide for those of you who are looking for a decent gaming PC for around the same cost as the current generation of consoles, being the Xbox One and the PS4.
Yep, so what we did, we have two parts lists, one for the Xbox One and one for the PS4. We did this because the Xbox One actually ended up costing a little bit more. What we figured is we had a $560 to work with the Xbox One price. That is the price of an Xbox One with Kinect, plus 1 year of Xbox Gold. And for the PS4, we actually went with around $450, and that is the price of a PS4, plus $50 for 1 year of PlayStation Plus. So really without further ado, the first list we have up here is for the Xbox One killer, or whatever you want to call it. So right off the bat, you can see this thing's going to just be a monster compared to the Xbox. We have the GTX 770 right here is with the Zotac amp cooler. This thing is just way better than the GPU included in the Xbox One. I think the Xbox One runs 792p, Watch Dogs at 792p, 30 frames a second. This thing could do 1080p. I'd estimate around 50, and I think I've actually seen some benchmarks that were right around there. So it's just going to be an absolutely destroy the Xbox One in that regard.
And you get Borderlands pre-sequel when you buy it for free. Free game. But just if you do plan on following this guide, make sure you get on it pretty quick, because those 770s are not... the 700 series graphics card are not going to last, considering the 900 series just came out and they've already discontinued the 700 series. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, moving on, we're just going to talk about the processor. The processor is probably, I'd say, the second most important bit in a gaming PC, so you definitely don't want to skimp on it, and we didn't here. We have the AMD FX 6300. That's a 6-core at 3.5 gigahertz that'll turbo up to 4.1. Really, not much else to say about this. It's a little bit old. It's definitely been tried and true. Got 5 eggs here, pretty sweet. And for a decent price, you get a really good 6-core. It's just going to be really solid for gaming.
Also, it's actually a little cheaper than that, because if you'll notice, there's $12 off with a promo code.
Yeah, any promo codes, mail-in rebates, you can probably factor those in, probably save, I don't know, $50 depending on what there are on these particular parts at any time. But we didn't bother to do that.
Also, considering that promo code ends in just a few more days.
Yes, you better get on that quickly. Anyways, moving on, our motherboard. No bells, no whistles. It's the MSI 760 GMA P34. Basically, an AM3 Plus motherboard that was really solid for the price. It has all the features we need. It's got the PCI Express 2.0 slot, and that's going to be perfect for our 770. No bells and whistles, like I said, but it's going to get the job done just fine. If you want a different one, you might want one that has 4 DIMM slots if you plan on running a quad channel, which you just make sure your motherboard does that. But yeah, for what we're planning to do, this motherboard's going to work just fine. Moving on, memory. Again, it's not very special. It's just the Team Elite Plus. It's 2 4-gig modules running at 1333, clocked at 1333. The console, people might want to point out that the Xbox One has 8 gigs clocked at 2133. And yeah, they'd be right. Their memory is clocked a little bit higher than this. But 2 things. One, if you want different memory, go for it. It's just gonna be a bit more expensive. Second, I don't think in my experience, anyways, overclocking your memory or using faster memory really doesn't make that much of a difference as far as real gaming experience. You're really not gonna see any more FPS in your games. So for what we're doing, again, this is going to work just fine. And again, it's just a great thing about PC gaming. If you want to build something fancier, go for it, but you just got to know when to stop. And we think this is totally fine, and it keeps us within our price range.
Yeah, this is just a guide. Do whatever you want to. You don't have to get the exact same things. We're just showing you that there are cheap but reliable parts out there.
Mm-hmm. Next part, we have probably not too much of a surprise to anyone who's built a gaming PC around this price range. 1 terabyte Western Digital Blue. It's going to give us solid performance, and since we were going for specs that are similar, if not better, to the current gen systems, this really hits the nail on the head.
No, more so. This is 1 terabyte. The Xbox One only has 500 gigabytes.
It actually is, yes, it is twice the storage. And we're actually just going to go for a 500 gigabyte one, but as you see, a 500 gigabyte is $50, and 1 terabyte is 54 or 55. So just go for the 1 terabyte. Why not double your storage? Next, power supply, the EVGA 500B, and that's an 80 plus bronze certified, 500 watt. It's just one of those things. Again, it's going to have all the power connectors we need. It's going to work just fine. It's reliable, and 80 plus bronze, so it's pretty efficient. Not too many bells and whistles on this one, but really,
it's a power supply. How many bells and whistles could it have? As
long as it's reliable, it should have at least a pretty decent warranty. It's got a 3-year warranty. That's just fine, and this is going to work perfect for your system.
And it's actually $15 less after a rebate card. So
yeah, make sure you do all that stuff. It's going to be again, you probably save like $50 if you jump through all those hoops. Lastly, case, no bells, no whistles. Again, there's nothing really to say about this case. It's HEC Vigilance Black. Very, very plain, but it's going to hold your parts. It's going to keep them safe. It comes with 2 included fans. Hey, it's going to work, and it's $25.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. I'll minimize that guy. We have our PS4 parts right over here. If I can just grab it. Here we go. Come on, Firefox. I believe in you. My screen recorder was in the way of me grabbing that. Anyways, that was embarrassing. Let's get going on the PS4. So anyways, our target goal, like we said, was $450, which we just about hit.
Yeah.
We were within $20 of our...
We were just a little higher, but again...
Yeah, so this, again, it'll outperform the PS4, which actually, from what I've seen anyways, is a lot better than the Xbox One performance-wise. But, just whatever, pointing it out. Right off the bat, we have the R9 270. We couldn't get any of these 700, series graphics cards into this build realistically. They're just too expensive. The 770, we could fit that into a $560 build, but it just couldn't be done. So yeah, we went with the R9 270, and it has 2 gigs of GDDR5, and just check out the benchmarks on this thing. They do rival that of the PS4, and it's just going to be a great reliable card for years to come. Next, kind of a similar processor anyways to our last pick. This is the AMD FX 4-core, the FX 4300. It's right around $80. It's a 4-core AMD processor. It's going to be just fine for your games. It's going to complement your R9 270 Radeon just fine. Next, we ended up going with just 1 DIMM of DDR3. It's just a 1x4 memory module. This is something you can buy another one of these and run dual channel. It's something I'd probably recommend, but this is just to keep us within our price range. Just to get going, it's going to be just fine. It really won't make that much of an effect on your gaming. I don't know, you need memory. Good stuff. Next part, our motherboard. Again, you'll probably notice a theme. We just kind of went with whatever a solid part with a decent price, and it just has all the everything we need. So here we have the MSI. It's an AM3 Plus board. Let's see, it's the 760G. So this is going to, again, just facilitate everything we need. You can look for other motherboards if you want something flashier, but this is the one we'd recommend for this build. Next, our power supply. It's the Antec Neo Echo 520C. It's a 520 watt power supply.
It's a power supply. There's really not much more that can be said.
80 plus bronze certified. I wanted to make sure there were decent parts in this build. I'm just throwing in $20 crappy power supplies. And this is going to work out perfectly. Actually, you could use the power supply we had in the Xbox build, the EVGA one. That would work fine too. But
this is also just to show you that there are other parts.
Mm-hmm. And the last 2 parts, they're actually the same as the last build. It's another just 1 terabyte Western Digital Blue. And here we have the exact same case. Nothing fancy about this one. So that kind of concludes the parts for our video. And there's not really too much else to say. So yeah, definitely we always recommend PC gaming over console gaming. And there are a lot of benefits just outside of outside of the fact that they cost the same. So, for instance,
you can just do more with a computer. You can, you got your internet browser. You can do any other work you'd have to do that you couldn't do on a console.
Yeah, if you actually, if you get a PC, it's pretty obvious, but some people might not, might not be that obvious to some people. If you buy an Xbox rather, or one of the current gen consoles, you're still, to do your homework, to do your work, you're still going to need a PC more than likely. So you're going to end up spending, even if you go buy a cheap laptop at Best Buy, that's still $300, $400.
That's if you get a Chromebook.
Well,
and that's as cheap as you can go.
Yeah, and you're likely going to end up spending more. So, if you do this, you already have your computer, so you bought your gaming system and your computer in one. Secondly, I think a huge benefit is learning about the hardware inside your computer. Being able to diagnose and fix your own issues.
It saves you a bit on tech support going to Best Buy or the Microsoft store.
You don't have to head over to that Geek Squad no more, because you kind of know what you're doing. If you want a slightly satirical list of the reasons to join PC gaming, our PC Master Race, check it out. It's great.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, it's we could go on for a while, but I don't think that's what this video is about.
It was not supposed to be about that. We're supposed to be just very objective, not subjective.
Yeah. So, anyways, these are potential builds. You could swap around the parts, but things like this could go into a build that would perform much better than the current gen consoles. And we think at the end of the day, you'd be better off for building a gaming PC. You'd be a better person. Make the world a better place.
Also, let's also remember that even if you do this build exactly the same, you can always upgrade it for better parts if you want to.
Yep. Yeah. This won't be obsolete. This will be obsolete much further after the current gen consoles are obsolete, which actually they might already be obsolete. But
by PC gaming master race standards, they were obsolete before they even got started.
Yes, quite. Anyways, I'm getting the idea. We're rambling. Let's wrap this up. Not too much else to say. If you have any other questions about PC gaming or any of the parts we picked, just post them in the comments
below.
And I guess that was this is the Deadbeat Devs. Yeah, signing off.